Hey, it's Debra, and we're back again for yet another episode of Answers about Alzheimer's. At this channel, we don't just talk about Alzheimer's disease, we talk about every different type of dementia, how to handle, how to manage, how to get results, how to calm them down. That is my superpower. How to get results from your person with dementia in your living room or your senior living community. So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Debra, and I have been in this dementia industry, if you will, for about 2 decades. And I absolutely love the brain. I find it completely fascinating. In fact, the more challenging your behaviors are, the more I love it because I love a challenge and I have a very, very, very high success rate. So before I continue, I want to make sure that I have a bonus for you. This is the Dementia Devotional. And at the end, I'm going to read this, but you can get this for free on my website under the free resources tab. That link will be down below for you. I also have a best-selling caregiver book. Lots and lots and lots of great information in here for you about communication, behaviors, bathing, you name it, activities. It's all in here. You can't go wrong. I've got so many great things for you. When you're downloading your free whatever you want, there's all kinds of things under the free resources tab. When you're there, hit the events tab and see if we have an upcoming webinar that you might like to join me live for. I love to meet you in person. Ugh, don't know what that was about. Okay. So, I also have a course, but if I have time, I'll talk about that later. If not, then you'll have to find out about that somewhere else, maybe on the website. Today, I want to kind of talk about 2 different dementias that I don't want to say they're tougher, but they're kind of tougher. And, tough is all relative, right? Because it depends on the caregiver. It depends on your person with dementia. But personally, I feel like these 2 types of dementia in particular can be extremely challenging. They have their different sets, different types of challenges. And those 2 types of dementia are frontotemporal dementia, or FTD, and Lewy body dementia, or LBD. So today I want to talk a little bit about both of those. So frontotemporal dementia has, as a caregiver, you're going to have massive compassion for your person with dementia, because someone who is suffering from frontotemporal dementia, so first of all, the frontal lobe is here behind your forehead. Temporal lobes are on the sides of your head. Okay, you have 2 and 2. So what happens is that the frontal lobes in particular are responsible for our emotions, feeling them, expressing them, understanding the emotions of others. So you can imagine if your person with frontotemporal dementia or damage to their frontal lobe, and they're having problems regulating, understanding their own emotions, you're probably going to feel like you're not appreciated. You're going to feel like they're just pushing your buttons. You may give them a gift and they don't even appreciate it. So it's really, really hard on a caregiver to have to deal with damage to that frontal lobe. The other thing is, when you're dealing with a person with FTD or frontotemporal dementia, you got to learn how to put your spam filter on. And this is really, really hard, because the closer we are in the relationship, the harder it is to not take things personally. But you got to put your spam filter on. So a computer has a spam filter, and the purpose of a spam filter is to protect your sensitive equipment from bad stuff, right? So you got to put your spam filter on, because your person with FTD, they're not going to know that they're slinging ugly comments at you. They're not going to understand what a racist slur is. They're not being mean on purpose. And I know that is so hard. This is why it's so important that as a caregiver, you get the proper education And trust me, there's not much out there that's actually going to give you results. So educating yourself more and more and more is going to help you to be able to handle these types of behaviors, these types of rude sexual comments. Oh my gosh, there's so much to get into with frontotemporal lobe. So typically this disease, it hits men and women usually at the same rate, usually after the age of 50, and the average year at diagnosis is 58 years old. So the life expectancy after a diagnosis of frontotemporal dementia is approximately 5 to 7 years, or 7.5 years rather. So this dementia can be hereditary. It can be hereditary. So approximately 40% of people with this diagnosis have had a family history of frontotemporal dementia in their family. If you've had head injuries or head traumas, this triples your risks. And if you have thyroid disease, this 2.5 times doubles your risk of getting FTD. So the frontal lobe, I want you to think about, I love teaching this way, but I want you to think about what the frontal lobe is responsible for. And then I want you to try to think about what it would be like if you lost those abilities. So the frontal lobe is responsible for planning, judgment, reasoning. I hope you're writing this down. Social skills, movement, speaking, self-control, self-monitoring, what's appropriate and inappropriate. That's a lot. And that's just the frontal lobe. And we're talking frontotemporal dementia. Can you see why educating yourself is so important with this disease? So the temporal lobe is responsible for hearing, how we understand and interpret language. So, I mean, if you can't understand what people are saying to you, how are you going to do what they want you to do? If you don't understand what the command is, you don't understand the language, you might as well be speaking Swahili. Memory problems, the expression of your emotions, and processing. So it's not that the person who has FTD, it's not that they don't care or they don't give a shit. Like, they just can't. They can't. And you can't convince them to care, right? So you can't be like, oh, you have to eat your vegetable because they're healthy, or you have to get up and move because your muscles and your bones are degenerating, right? That's not going to work. That's not going to work with a person with FTD. Actually, it won't work with any person with dementia. But so symptoms can cluster, and the symptoms that cluster together tend to be behavioral, speech and language, or motor. And I'm not going to get really into those, but I do have another video that kind of gets a little bit more into those clusters of symptoms. But they can have more than one cluster of symptoms going on at a time. And the other thing is that people with FTD or frontotemporal dementia, they can get very, very sexually inappropriate. And they can misinterpret things very easily. So, I mean, you got to remember, their brain is dying, right? It's not making the proper connections. And we already talked about that. They can't self-soothe. They don't have self-control. So if you're helping them with tasks like toileting and hygiene and bathing, they may very easily think that this is a sexual advance on them. And people with FTD, they have heightened sex drives. They can get very inappropriate sexually. They can say things, do things, grab, like heightened sexual inappropriate behaviors, masturbate in public. So this is also kind of where you got to dig deep and find the humor, right? You got to find the humor sometimes, because otherwise this disease is going to destroy you both. And I don't want that for you. I don't want this disease to destroy your family and your relationship, because I have seen it over and over and over again. Dementia destroys relationships. It doesn't matter what type of dementia you're dealing with. I have all of your solutions. And when I'm not saying that lightly, I have all of your solutions. I can get you from A to B, and I can get you all the way to Z. It's up to you. I have a 4-day course. We meet once a week for 4 weeks. And I can get you to a point where you can handle anything with confidence, with ease, and most of all, with results. So, and again, I'm not saying this lightly, because I'll give you a money back guarantee. If you don't absolutely love it, I'll give you your money back, no questions. So you really don't have anything to lose. But we are selective in who takes our course, because it's only me teaching it. I'm the only one currently that teaches it. So I have limited seats, because I keep the classes small so that you can ask questions about your particular problems and situations, and so we can figure things out for you. So that being said, it is a process. You have to fill out a short form. It takes about 2 minutes. You go to the website, you hit the book a call button, and you fill out a short form, and then we're going to have a conversation. And during that conversation, we'll decide right then and there whether or not we're going to offer you the course, or if we think there's something more appropriate for you, we will steer you in a different direction. Because our end goal is to get you the results you need, whether it's something we have or somebody else. We don't care. We want you to get results, because we're on a mission. We are on a mission to change the face of dementia caregiving and make it so much easier for you. And I don't care if you're a family caregiver or a medical professional, I'm going to take it to a whole new level. And if you're not singing our praises and telling everybody they should take the course, I'll give you your money back. So don't forget to go to the website and download your dementia devotional. I recommend that you read this twice a day to help keep you in check. This is awesome. I worked so hard on this. I read this actually with my TikTok audience. Almost every live I do, we read this together. So print it out, subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet, and watch us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, wherever you love to get your social media, or just hang out here. But please, I'm sure you know many, many people who are in a similar situation as you, and they don't know about this fabulous channel. So please share it with others and do your part to help share these new modern dementia strategies that you just can't find anywhere else. I'm Debra Costu, and I hope that you join me and become a certified master dementia strategist. And I just realized we never talked about Lewy body. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to do a part 2, and I really should turn my phone off before I start videotaping, don't you think? Okay. So anyway, the next time I launch, I post twice a week. So the next one will be Lewy body. Okay. I'll see you next time. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you soon. Make sure you subscribe. You know you want to. Bye.